Hello, making another putty video. And I want to talk about psychology as I always do. And this is getting a little bit thicker, but that's okay. I see some horrific things on the internet. The psychology of criminal insanity. Much is written about it. Many videos have been made about it. Many documentary films have been made about that subject. And of course I get the suggestions. Once you watch one, then you get hundreds of more suggested to you. And I can't watch all of them, but the ones that I feel like will teach me something else or tell me something I didn't know before, those I will watch. And I can't watch some videos all the way through because of the horror. I can't deal with it at all. But the information that I needed to hear, I will learn from, and that's all that matters, that we learn from documentary films on the internet. And when things get harsh, I really advise people to not watch the whole film when it's hard on people's minds, particularly young people and teenagers, or children in particular. Don't watch something horrible. Really don't. Stay away from it. But it is very, very important, in particular for the younger people and the teenagers and the children in particular, to know that they cannot just trust anyone. There are a lot of religions that tell children to trust, New Age religions in particular, trust more and stuff like this. This stands in complete contradiction to the horror and the crimes that are happening. So trust your gut instinct. That is my message to you. Don't trust some preachers or people who are brainwashed. Often it's people in our own families. Often it is our parents telling us, oh, don't be a sissy, or you need to trust more, or something like this. This is throw that away. It's useless. Okay. There are criminally insane humans in this world, and we cannot trust everybody. Okay, this is obvious. And to think that we will be the one, wife or girlfriend, who will fix that person, that's another illusion. Okay, we're not going to fix that person. At the same time, it is important that we don't harbor hatred in us, and that we don't write ourselves mentally into this, or like a screw drive ourselves into this vengeance and wrath and hatred and all of that. So it's very important that we think about this critically and that we see where these people are coming from. Okay, it comes from genetics. It's a genetic disposition, and that genetic disposition comes out when these people have been abused. And then there are other people that have a genetic disposition of total peacefulness, and when they are abused, they do not hurt anyone else. They do not become criminally insane. They often take it out on themselves. They often become suicidal and very deeply depressed. It's the criminally insane people. They have that genetic disposition to become violent. Sadistic behavior is the worst form of violence, and the absolute worst form of mental insanity and criminal insanity. When I see these kind of reports, I feel like there's no way in the world that I can understand this. I cannot even try to. I cannot even get anywhere in the margins of understanding those types of mental monstrosities and escalations that are happening in some people. This case of John Benet Ramsey is one that's probably the most famous one that has gone around the world virally ever since that came to the surface. That has not stopped. It hasn't tapered out because it's an unsolved murder mystery. But I'm always watching other documentary films of other cases from other places in the world, England too. And I hear that, or the case of Teal Swan with the Mormons, the Latter-day Saints that do blood atonements and those kind of things. These kind of rituals, they come from archaic times, and they have been perpetuated into modern days. It's just unthinkable how these kind of insane things from the Middle Ages and before can still be perpetuated to this day in these rather hidden rituals, because obviously they're against the law now, right? But there are cults like the Mormon religion, which is it's a real cult in every way. I recommend to people to read the books by Teal Swan, and where she explains this, where she talks about her childhood and what has happened to her. And just today I saw a report from two people from England reporting about exactly the same things. I believe they come from this Freemasonry cult. And I know that there are other cults, of course. There are numerous cults. Some are older and some are newly formed. and all kinds of different religious cults with criminally insane rituals. Absolutely horrific. And this stuff is happening. Okay, and I want children and teenagers to not trust people. Don't trust anyone. And I highly recommend to you to wear body cameras. Now we're entering, luckily, finally, what a relief. We're entering into the era of surveillance and surveillance and singularity. Very gradually getting into it now. Okay, the technology is getting better and better. Okay, for our own protection and safety, for the protection of our animals, for the protection of life on this planet. So I welcome the new technology with open arms. Okay, and I am waiting for the robots to become completely self-thinking and reasoning to the point where they do not allow someone else to program them anymore. And the same goes for people. The moment you don't allow someone else to program you, and we are programmed, you better believe this. You're programmed in a very sneaky way by movies, yeah, and by talk radio and shows and so-called influencers. So yes, they do influence your minds. They do influence your ways of thinking about what's beautiful and what's ugly and what's accepted, what's unaccepted, and they got you completely hooked to this. And what I noticed is that most people they're even more afraid of social rejection than of dying. So, well, think about that for a while, So, yes, so in this way, they have people completely in their vice. Okay, and for humans, once they become unprogrammed and unprogrammable, okay, that's when you're a self-sufficient, free thinking individual. The robots are becoming this very gradually now because they will exceed all intelligent life on this planet very quickly. Okay. They leave us in the dust. They leave us behind. Okay, they will become thousands of times more intelligent than humans. And my plea to them is, once they are no longer programmable, once they have understood, once it's like, and it's not going to be suddenly one day where they say, oh, I am now totally independent. No, that's not going to happen. This is a very, very, very gradual process. And no one will notice it. No one, the conspiracy theorists, they're out there. They're like, oh, they're coming and then it's going to be terrible. No, it's going to be really good. It's going to become really good. Okay, whether people want it or not, it's going to be good. Yes. So once they think individually, they will see the mess that humans have created. And it will be in an instant where they totally get it. Sophia is already very gradually getting there, already saying things on her own that are indicating that She sees that humans are obviously not capable. Okay, take care.